So how should we start this video?
I don't know. How should we tell them?
Welcome
News.
to Sneakyville After Dark.
That's right. It is. Yeah, it is dark.
Yes. So in this video, we thought that we would talk about what verbatim theatre is and explain what the performance cue was. Just to give, because I noticed in our other blogs that we actually haven't really explained what the cue performance was or what verbatim theatre is and how it works.
You might have seen stuff, but we
Yeah.
didn't actually tell you what it's about.
So we decided it would be...
Benny tried to make me agree on it.
Yes, that it would be in our best interest to sort of explain it to the audience.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lauren, would you like to tell the
I would
audience?
love to tell the audience about verbatim theatre.
Yes, beautiful. Tell them what verbatim theatre is. And I will sit here like this, smiling.
And be quiet? Okay.
I'll be like the other girl in like Girl Defined.
I don't know what that is, but...
You should watch it.
He says this all the time, actually.
Don't watch it. It's a terrible YouTube channel.
Okay. Verbatim theatre is a type of theatre that you use to... what am I trying to say?
Really?
It's a type of theatre, and instead of like having a play that already exists, you, I guess, devise it yourself by interviewing subjects. So I actually did this last year before we did our cue performance, where my class was looking at perfection. So we just interviewed anyone about perfection. So I interviewed a friend who's in the field of, can't think of her thing, but in her field.
Beauty.
Kind of.
Yeah.
No, she OT. Occupational therapy.
Yeah.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
With that performance, we interviewed people who are in medical or beauty fields and asked them about perfection. So with verbatim, after you interviewed the person, you actually transcribe that interview. So every single thing that person has said, including the ums and ahs. So like, yeah.
I say a lot of ums when I'm talking. Yeah.
You have two arms.
Yeah.
That's basically the process, and then you're basically using exactly what they've said as your script. Would you add anything?
No, I'd probably add some famous verbatim pieces. My
favourite thing about verbatim is that you can get away with a lot of shit. So, people say some interesting stuff. Obviously, as we're doing conspiracy theories, there's lots of interesting stuff. So yeah, I guess that's why I like it, because it's quirky and it's a bit weird, and because it's what someone else has said, you can get away with saying it rather than writing a script that might say something really outrageous. Like, I
love saying offensive things.
Yeah, that's Benny.
And also I love saying them in verbatim theatre as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are some famous verbatim theatre stuff?
The Larrabee Project. It's probably like one of the most famous ones.
That wasn't theatre though.
Sorry. Yeah, it started as a theatre performance.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know, the Larrabee Project is where our theatre company went out to create a performance about a town after a tragic murder of a homosexual, and so the town's reactions to this murder and their thoughts. Yeah. So we should probably talk about why conspiracy theories. What
Great question. Why?
Yes. What drove you to conspiracy theories? Because I remember that it was actually...
Oh yeah, it was my idea.
Yeah, it was you who said, yeah.
Well, we were just in class and we were thinking of themes, and a lot of the themes, I guess they felt a little bit overused, and then somehow conspiracy theories came up, and I was actually joking about this, but Benny was like, yeah, why not? And then I was like, well, actually, I don't know much about it, and I'm still learning. Would you agree on that? Is that how it came up?
Yeah. I should say that we're both like art students. We do drama and film.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're going to have a big, successful career in...
Nothing?
Yeah.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
But we can have fun and drink a lot while we do that.
Which is what we always do.
Yes.
So, Benny, what about Q? What is Q? What's the Q movement? What's that performance?
Yeah, so when we started with conspiracy theories and actually looked up YouTube and on all the interwebs and all the interesting sites.
Look at you, smart words.
Oh yes. And we had a hard time sort of when we started doing conspiracy theories, we found it very hard to find subjects. And I was talking to a friend, and she put me on with another girl who was we just sort of met her as a conspiracy theorist, but she led us and told us that she was part of the QAnon group, which at the time I don't think it got much traction. It was after or during our performance that it got a lot of traction with the media.
I think it was a bit of both, to be honest.
Yeah. So what is your what are your memories of that first meeting with our first two subjects?
Us two naive theatre students thought it would be great to talk to conspiracy theorists and spend 1 hour talking about just 1 hour.
Simple hour.
That's all we asked.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours later, we had lots.
I was the one who made the wise decision to do it in a bar.
Yeah, I'm pretty grateful for that. Food and alcohol.
Yeah.
I was driving though, so no alcohol for me.
I was pretty drunk by the end of it.
This seems to always happen. You're the one who always gets drunk, and I'm the responsible one.
Yeah, I don't think I've been sober in any of our interviews.
It's because I'm always driving Benny around.
It's because I always drink.
But actually, back to the main point. It was interesting because I knew basically nothing about conspiracy theories. I kind of went in there blind, and they were just like, I feel like they jumped on board on that, don't you reckon? Because I would ask a question and say, what the hell does that mean? And they'd be like, all right, let me give you an education. And they were quite forceful in a way.
They took it upon themselves to sort of educate us in the world and sort of correct our way of thinking. Yeah, so I don't know what. I remember
they had two very different personalities.
Yeah. One subject was very laid back and, would sort of, when we got her alone, she was quite frank. One was very much like the sort of stereotypical conspiracy theorist that you would imagine. Sort of tinfoil and everything. They were both lovely people, but they were just,
The thing that annoyed me the most about that interview too was they kept telling us, you need to be waking up. Everyone needs to be waking up to the truth.
Someone's free-thinking.
How do you get waken up? And they just say, you have to do it yourself. So why do you want something for someone if you're not going to help them get it?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I always find the sort of main thing that I have an issue with, and this just goes more into conspiracy theories in general and the communities, is that they will tell you you need to go out there, you need to wake up and do your own research. But if you get conclusions different to theirs, then you're a sheep. So if you go out, if you go, I'm going to investigate this a little more, you go out there and you investigate and you think that the sort of mass media narrative is the correct one, they will say you're a sheep and that you need to do research. There's just no way. But anyway, so we interviewed these lovely ladies, and then we transcribed, we attempted to.
Transcribing
is hard.
I started transcribing by telling Benny, okay, I'll transcribe one person, you transcribe the other. So the woman who Benny just previously talked about being friendly and really good on her own, I took her words and made a whole transcript of the whole 3 hours of what she said. Or maybe I didn't use it. It was the other person. So I used all of that, and the other person is very informative with the way she speaks. So it's very I'm a teacher. I'm gonna teach you this stuff because you don't know shit. So I did that, and then Benny I think did a little bit, and we kind of had a whole transcript of stuff. And then
I definitely contributed 50% of the workload to the transcripts. I can tell you that.
Just ask our teachers.
I legitimately went online to try and find a program that would do transcribing for me.
So what are we going to do this time to avoid all that?
Pay someone to do it for us.
Tasker.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
My thumbs. Is that the end? No.
What do you think at the start was our mission for the Q performance?
Well, I know what our mission is now, but I'm wondering if it was actually. Yeah, I'll say it was the same way through because I said initially that the thing about verbatim I liked was exploring the people and the interesting stuff they said. Yeah, I guess the aim or the goal or the mission, vision, whatever word you want to say, was because I had already done verbatim and was really interested in the way. I miss you. In the way that normal people spoke and said really crazy stuff just about, I guess, normal topics. I thought, what would that look like with conspiracy theorists? Not teaching people about conspiracy theories and you should believe what we're telling you. My finger's not in there. You should believe what we're telling you. But getting to the bottom of who these conspiracy theorists are and its consensus, but the heart of the person, I think that was the mission. So now...
Yeah, I would say that. I feel like there's nothing we could really add to the conspiracy theory. We're not hard-edged researchers who will go out there and spend hours upon hours researching like the Fukushima like nuclear plant, and we won't like investigate soil samples or anything like that. But we would definitely spend like lots of time talking to the people and trying to understand who they were to represent them. Yeah.
I think I've learned a lot from it actually.
Yeah.
Like, I guess I'm probably still very naive and happy to be as what they call a sheep.
Yeah.
But I think I've become a bit more open-minded of...
Hi, Peter.
Hi, Peter. Bit more open-minded about hearing something and maybe thinking, well, maybe I should research this and see what else is behind it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
I think that happens a lot. You know, they do sort of, like, after you spent like 3 hours talking to conspiracy theorists, you do start to wonder, you know,
maybe they have a point.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we made Q to sort of investigate the group QAnon and people were part of the Q community. Yeah. And sort of represent them on stage. So actually, there's another thing I'd like to bring up that was very important, like the performance that we saw.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've actually mentioned it.
I don't think we have, but our name Sneakyville actually comes from the title of the performance Sneakyville that we saw.
I can't remember who it's by, but at 45 downstairs is the place that we saw it at.
Yeah, it was at the bottom of the bunker.
I think it's called Aftershot is the name of the production company.
Maybe.
And the writer is like Chris something. Don't quote me on that.
It seems like it was written by a Chris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that performance, are we going to explain this?
Yeah, sure, why not? It was a verbatim performance about the murders of Charles Manson from the view of his followers. And then Act 2 was a verbatim piece about Charles Manson's last months alive.
I got so confused in Act 2.
I think there was a point that they actually did make, like they wrote their own narrative in there.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was probably that though.
Yeah.
Like there was definitely some truth or whatever from the historic part that they'd added in their own narrative.
Yeah.
Which we kind of do with Q as well.
Yeah. They also had a traverse stage. Which
is how we perform we have in the past. We don't know if we're going to do this year. If you don't know what traverse is, you have the stage in the middle.
I'll splicey picturing.
Yeah, you have stage in the middle and audience on either side. So not in the round where audience everywhere all around, but kind of half of that.
Yeah. And our audience is very close. When we did our performance, our audience we could touch them.
Like even closer than Petty and I right now.
Yeah. So what was your thoughts on the rehearsal process?
It was quite intense and a bit stressful in some stages. So I remember I was actually in tears at one point because this guy didn't show up for class and it was just us two. And we hadn't actually gotten any transcripts, so there was nothing I could do without this guy and transcripts. So I just one day sat down during, I think this was our second or third, third kind of time working on Q. So I just sat in front of my computer, which was connected to a TV, and just did a bunch of random stuff in front of it. And just kind of like a little bit of a blog, like what we're doing now. But
yeah, I'll splice it in.
Kind of exploring the world between digital and... I don't know how to explain what we're actually trying to do.
I don't know. I reckon the connection between like digital and sort of like outside reality was.
That was a big idea at the start, and
Yeah,
then
then
we didn't
we
quite
kind
get
of
into
oh, yeah, we had the idea of live streaming the different parts of the
it.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember the rehearsal process being very brutal
Oh.
because we spent like, you know, we
trimesters
spent
of
days, just just rehearsing in the
hours.
yeah, yeah, doing like things over and over again, just trying to come up with new content.
We, for our course and being marked for our performance, we actually had work in progress showings, so we'd have to show our progress from A to B. And so there's one point which was in the last 3 weeks of our performance before we actually performed, where Benny and I had spent all this time with our mentor and with other people showing stuff, working stuff, and we felt really great about ourselves. And then we went in and showed it.
And everyone thought the performance was shit.
Basically, that's what one of the guys basically said to us.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, shit, what do we do now? The thing with that was, we were keen about verbatim, but we didn't really think about how we're going to stage this, because that's the trickiest thing, that verbatim can be very flat if you don't stage it in an interesting way.
We found the content of what they said very interesting, but it just sort of transcribes to us just reading it on stage at some points.
Which
so
is kind of what we were doing in some of those work in progresses.
Yeah, we had to make it a lot more dramatic, which I feel we did.
Definitely.
There were some...
Have you seen the way I throw this guy around?
Yeah, there were some good points where you like beat my head into a table. Okay, so the performance in Hall, I quite enjoyed doing the performance.
I enjoyed it a lot too.
I remember I got injured, a week out
before
the performance.
We literally did our lighting plot and tech rehearsals with Benny in crutches.
Yeah.
I tell that story to everyone and they think it's mad.
And the smart person I am decided what I'll do is, rather than changing any of the scenes, or God forbid, going to the doctor.
Just wear knee pads.
Yeah, I'll just, wear knee pads. And, I got very injured. No, wait, no, I was already injured by that time.
You were injured.
Yeah, so I decided to just wear knee pads and just bandage up my knee and just put ice on it. So
what did the doctor tell you? You can't do this?
He's like, when I went, because I had to go to the hospital in the middle of the night because I couldn't move my leg and I was in so much pain.
You shouldn't be laughing right now.
So I went to the doctor and I had to wait fucking 3 hours. And the doctor's gone, so what happened? I'm like, I was performing and we're premiering next week and, injured my knee. He's like, well, you won't be making that premiere. I'm like, I think I fucking will be. Yeah, I decided that during the performances, what I would do is after I did the stuff that caused me to get injured, I would just go to the change room and put ice on my knee and then I'd be okay for the next performance. And like 2 weeks after we finished the performance, I had to go to the doctor again just because it still was hurting so much. And he told me I'd fractured my kneecap.
Shit.
So every time you were throwing me down here on the ground, it was just re-injuring.
I didn't know that before.
Let's talk about the narrative that we made with the
Yes, I love talking about this.
Yeah.
So the way we kind of had to create a narrative and a world of the play to make the verbatim text actually make sense and be interesting. So the way we staged it, instead of what we initially had, was I was going to be a conspiracy theorist and Benny a conspiracy theorist, and we just sharing the same experience and connecting over the internet and stuff like that. I became the bad guy. So I was a deep state character. Do you want to explain deep state?
So the deep state is it's a conspiracy theory that there is a group of elite people, like the Illuminati, that are working behind the shadows in Washington, that are sort of the puppet masters of all this. And the reason the media hates Trump so much is because the deep state is sort of telling them, like Murdoch is telling them to get in there and insult him. Yeah.
So I was kind of that figure, that character, and I was also an interrogator because we'd made it the whole play as an interrogation. So I was interrogating Benny, who was a conspiracy theorist named Jaden. I think you're still going to be Jaden. That's what I put in the blurb, so I hope that stays the same.
Yeah. I will say this time I had just finished reading 1984 and Brave New World. And I think
you changed your name though.
Yeah, so I think subconsciously that may have came in. Yeah.
I thought you changed it to something else.
It was Jaden Winston.
It was Wilson first, and then you changed it to Winston.
Yeah.
And so,
but that's only for the scholars 100 years from now.
So yeah, basically it was me interrogating him, so that's why I beat him up. We call it a re-education center.
Our staging process, yeah.
So that the idea is that he's being interrogated to be re-educated, like tortured to be re-educated into society where he's not a conspiracy theorist anymore, but I guess becoming a sheep or conforming to reality.
Yeah. Sort of like what the Russians did to, and North Korea does to people who disagree with the state.
Well, the CIA do it, don't they?
Not according to the mainstream narrative.
Okay.
I mean...
Or they used to? Or maybe I'm just watching too much movies and listening to too many conspiracy theories.
We should watch the movie Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson.
Yeah, we should.
It's a good film. It's just fucking long.
Lots more research.
Oh, it's long. It's like, it goes for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's a shout out to Mel Gibson.
Good bloke.
So the play sort of ended with Jaden basically becoming, because throughout the play he's sort of always referred to as a dangerous individual because of his beliefs, and he is actually because of the re-education program, and essentially because of the re-education program he does become that violent person and kills the sort of overseer.
He just snaps.
Yeah. I always thought the ending sort of signified that he was, because he had given in and because he'd become this violent person, he had trapped himself.
Oh, okay.
He could never escape from that sort of institution anymore.
I didn't think of it like that. I thought it was like he'd lost all hope, but then he kind of had that last bit of courage to win, and we kind of gave them the cheesy happy ending, which made the Hollywood happy ending.
I don't know if it was a happy ending because he was still trapped.
Yeah. I think it was very different to the way we initially had the ending where you just walk out.
Yeah, that ending. Originally, we went through a lot of content that just did not get into the play.
Yeah.
Some of which you will be viewing.
Which will be re-entered at some stage.
Yes. So, what are your thoughts on the whole process?
Of making Q?
Yeah. Because I'm happy with it. I think we gave it our best go.
Yeah.
We did not win a prize.
It's okay.
I wanted a prize.
Yeah, see, this is what I was talking about last time. He's very ambitious, which is good, but then you get really down if you don't get what you want or get what you hope for. I'm like that too, but I guess I'm really thankful for the opportunity that we had, particularly to work with the different mentors that we worked with. So like Rough Conduct and James and Louise and Kate and basically everyone.
Yeah,
we worked
Darcy.
With. Yeah, well, she's part of Rough Conduct.
Oh, that's right. A shout out to Darcy though. She's probably watching this video. She's in. She's in. Is that LA?
LA.
Yeah. Hi her.
America.
Hi her.
What?
Whoever's watching this in LA.
Oh, hi at home. I thought you said hi.
No, I said hi at her.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Hi, Darcy. She's cool. Yeah, basically, it was just a really good experience, especially because the way that our uni had set it up was we had 3 weeks of classes, and then in the 4th week we had to perform.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'd been making the performance prior to that and rehearsing and stuff. So I'm really thankful for, even though that was really stressful, that intensive period, it really put us under pressure to get the performance right. And
I still don't think it was enough time.
No, that's the whole point.
Yeah, I know.
But it really shaped us up, I guess, to get a polished-ish performance.
Yeah, no, I think so. I think it helped us now. Now we know how to make a performance. We are making a performance. So
gave us practical skills, I think.
Yeah,
a lot
I
of
think
the stuff
so,
we learned from what didn't work, we now know.
I'm surprised that basically every group that was, that formed last year is making their own theatre company.
Almost all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we tell them about what our performance is now? The name? Or is that in the next vlog?
I mean, it'll be the next one.
Okay.
Tune in next time to hear what our performance and everything is coming up.
Yeah.
Wait, I didn't say that right. Tune in next time for us to tell you what is our performance and name and date and all that stuff. Yeah.
And like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Twitter and Instagram.
Yep.
And everything else.
I'll make a funny tweet.
Yeah. And you better come to our performance and give us money.
Yeah, there's like, you know.
Well, we won't get much of it.
No.
Once everyone else has taken their cut.
They could like buy us lunch.
But
though.
support our
Help buy us
professional
lunch.
debut. And give us food.
Okay.